another part of this series about, starting over, letting things go, and potentially moving to a new city, right? This part of the series, and my dog wants to say hello to everybody. So this is Crit. I feel like y'all should know him by now. But anyway, so this part of the series is called Becoming. Now, I know everybody's probably read Michelle Obama's book, and there's so many people talking about becoming, and it's become a catchphrase, trademark kind of thing, right? But for me, I saw something this morning that said becoming isn't glamorous. It's messy. It's chaos sometimes. And that is very accurate. Becoming is really just choosing yourself, right? And it's choosing yourself and figuring it out along the way. And you'll never really have a lot of the answers. You'll just kind of have to figure it out as you're doing. But it's really important that you are in it and wanting to be actionable in your becoming. So I'll say this. Let's talk first about making sure that your house is in alignment with your becoming. Last time I talked about having a 30, 60, 90-day plan and, making sure you have some actionable steps to getting your house or your life to a certain point so that you have something to benchmark yourself. But I do also think it's important to realize that when you're in this stage of becoming, you also need to have a lot of self-compassion and a lot of grace for yourself as you're experiencing a lot of these things for the first time. And you're not going to always get it right. And you're not going to always know what to say or what to do or how to build community properly. I spent a lot of time this year kind of beating myself up for not seeing people for who they were in the beginning, for sugarcoating people's actions, for gaslighting myself into believing that people were actually good people to have in my life when they clearly never even liked me. So it's just really important to have self-compassion in your becoming. Without self-compassion, you are going to not fail, because there's no way to fail at becoming, right? But it's you're going to have a harder time in making progress and feeling like you're making progress. The concept of self-compassion came to me in 2019. I was going through a really hard time in my life. And my therapist told me, she's like, you lack self-compassion. You really think that you should just have it all figured out today. And nothing else is, nothing else matters. You should have had it figured out. It doesn't matter that you were getting your master's. It doesn't matter that you were in a new city. It doesn't matter that you were dealing with abuse. It doesn't matter that you're, working a job that stresses you out because it's at a startup. None of that matters. You should have just had it figured out, right? And I started thinking about the ways that I talk to myself. And at the time, I was really mean. I mean, I am still kind of mean to myself. I'm not going to lie to y'all. It's a never-ending process to heal from the things that we've been conditioned to believe about ourselves. But it was really bad at that time. And her saying self-compassion, I was like, girl, what that even mean? I know compassion, but I never knew self-compassion. So I'm going to implore you guys to consider self-compassion in your becoming process, right? You're not going to always get it right. I'm just going to keep saying it until it drills into your head. You're not going to always know what you're doing. You're not going to always make the right decisions, say the right things, look as cool as you want to. It's just not going to be a thing. You're human. Give yourself some grace. Have some self-compassion. I think, too, along with self-compassion, you've got to have discernment. I believe that discernment is honestly the way God speaks to us. If you are in a situation and you just know in your gut that you need to get out of this train, or you need to get off that trip, or you need to stop talking to that person, and you go against it and then something happens, your body knew. Our minds tend to, play around, but our bodies react. We know, we feel it in our guts that something is off. So it is a thing of the mind and the body, but sometimes when you don't have the alignment because your brain wants one thing and your body's like, I'm scared, something's wrong, we don't necessarily realize wow, I'm getting a signal here. And I really think that God speaks to us through our intuition. So getting in tune with your intuition is very important in your becoming stage, right? You really have to figure out how you are going to show up for yourself in that way. Prayer is definitely going to keep you in your alignment, in your discernment, right? But also having trusted people. I always talk about having a board of advisors, and my board of advisors really consists of my mom and some of my closest friends. And these are people that have known me. These are people that are tried and true. They have always wished me well. They have shown up for me. My dad's on my board of directors too. Let me not leave him out. But these are people that know me. They love me. They wish me well. They want the best for me. And those are the people you have to look for in your life. And if you don't have those people, you always have God. So go to God and talk to God about it. And you'll just start finding people in your path, or somebody will suggest a book or something that alleviates your problem. You always have help. You are never alone, right? Even though sometimes it can feel like it. So your discernment, and you're having your board of directors, and it's not necessarily to validate, your emotions or validate what you're experiencing. It's sometimes to really give you perspective. Like sometimes you feel some type of way, or you don't even feel some type of way, and somebody's like, girl, you should feel some type of way. And you're like, that's an interesting perspective. Why do you think that? Like, what flags am I missing? And, you still go back and process and reflect on it. You're not going to just take something somebody said and run with it because they said it. But it's good to have that, relationship with somebody that you trust to be able to have conversations like that, because they care about you. So becoming is a process in itself. It's going to take self-compassion. It's going to take discernment. It's going to take tapping into your board of directors and making sure you have people. I always tell people, run your life like you're a CEO. And I know that's been all over the internet, but it's serious. Like, what do these people bring to your life? Like, I'm gonna die on that hill every time. Is it just, you are the CEO of happy hours for me? Cool, that's the spot. That's cool. Or you're the CEO of the person, like, I know you pray for me. You are my chief praying officer. Everybody needs a spot. Everybody needs a spot. So you have to have those people, like, understand what people's purpose in your life is, or they will lead you astray. Okay? So there's that. The last thing that I'll say, because I'm trying to make these videos a little shorter, is your community building is going to be very important in your new city. And I think more so in the last video, I'll tap into some of the things I've experienced. It's not tea. It's not even matcha. Matcha is tea, but like, it's none of that. Like, it's just, these were my experiences. There are people in the city of Detroit that have not been nice to me. I'm just keep it 100. And we keep it pushing. I will say before we even get to that is, again, discernment, super important. But we got to start treating friendships like dating. When you're dating somebody and they give you the ick, or they make you feel weird, you get them on up out of there. Or you should. I don't know. Maybe you don't, but you should, right? But we tend to really hold on to people, and we tend to be like, you know what? Yeah, that girl said that was a little strange, but let me still try to be cool with her. Let me still go to happy hour. Let me still do this. No, get them on up out of there. And like I said, we'll get into that more. Like the last part of this series, I really want to talk more about choosing the proper community, but I'll just give you a precursor. Your community can make or break you. You're moving to a new city, you're alone, you're choosing to put yourself out there. The way you put yourself out there is also going to be very important to the way people see you, right? So you really have to be not strategic. I hate that word for some reason. It just gives me the ick. But like, you really do have to be strategic in the way that you're displaying yourself. You don't want to seem desperate for friends. You don't want to seem desperate for not being alone. Like, you want to spend this time with you and God as you're moving into this new city, as you're becoming, but you also want to be open to love flowing to you and, making new friends and having community and all these things. But it is important that you do it in a way that also is discerning, that also puts God at the forefront and allows for him to be like, nah, that's not the right person for you. Also allows for your board of directors to be like, it's weird she said that. You don't think that's weird? Why you don't think that's weird? Nah, listen to that again. You just repeat what you just shared with me again. I learned that the hard way with a lot of people that I no longer am cool with in Detroit. I want y'all to not have to learn it the hard way, to go into these situations thinking about it as like, the moment I feel uncomfortable with someone, I need to remove myself. The moment that I have to start doing mental gymnastics, I need to remove myself. So again, becoming is chaotic. Finding your place and your space in a new city is chaotic. It is not going to necessarily be champagne and roses. I keep trying to tell y'all, but it's going to be so worthwhile. Like, I would not have traded my experience in Detroit for anything. Like, I have some genuine people in my life now. I have an amazing boyfriend that I did not think I would have met. I have a faith-based community that is not necessarily a church, but I got people to call up that are prayer warriors. I have a dog that I love, which he was here before. He'd been in my life for a while. But like, it's just, you really have to start looking and being grateful for the things you have. So don't get me wrong, but building community is the base of that, because your community can make you feel away. Oh, got you say. Anyway, so until next time, I hope that you guys realize it is okay to have a struggle in becoming. It is okay to, need some pep talks in your discernment. It's okay to have a board of directors that kind of helps you to realize, like, nah, you being a little too nice when you really should be going off. It's okay. Like, you gaslight yourself right now. Why are you doing that? And it's okay to realize, like, you may or may not make mistakes in your choices when you're building community. You may or may not listen to your discernment. Like, we're all just trying to learn, and there's no formula. What works for me might not work for you, but I still would love to share, just so that maybe you can have something in the background to think about. So until next time.